How you guys doing? Welcome to Cooking While Drunk. You know who I am. I know who you are. Tonight we're sipping on a little bit of 805. It's actually really good. This is from Firestone. 805. Well, I'm assuming that's the San Luis Obispo area code. And I got a little bit of Svedka vodka here. Alright, we're going to do some smothered pork chops. Here I have 4 nice thick pork chops all ready. Blotted dry with some excess fat peeled off. Just hit them with a little bit of kosher salt, some cracked black pepper. Of course, you're going to flip and repeat. I forget I'm left-handed, so, you know, I'm one of the real people. My daughter's a real person, too. She's left-handed. She's here somewhere. Being sneaky, probably. Alright. We got a nice hot pan. A little bit of oil. You see the pan starts to shimmer. The oil starts to shimmer a little bit. You may see little whiffs of smoke, little tiny whiffs of smoke. It's A-okay. So this is an oversized pan. I've only got 4 chops, so you'll see me using mostly the middle for this. Nice sizzle. We're going to let these brown for a couple minutes. I just put those too close together by accident. I got time to move it. You don't want them too close to each other. You want them in the chance of nice and brown. Get this out of the way. I keep forgetting that I have a small kitchen. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make some smothered and covered pork chops. So I have. We're trying to teach our daughters to stop saying I've got or what you got. So I have my 4 nice, thick, juicy pork chops. I have 1 thinly sliced yellow onion. I have 2 cloves of thinly sliced garlic. About a tablespoon and a half of flour. I'm going to need about 2 tablespoons of butter and some chopped fresh tarragon. I've been cooking a taragon, all of a sudden just appeared in the markets I go to, so I started buying it again. I have it in dried form, but getting it in fresh, just adds a whole level. Dried herbs are a little more potent because they're dried, they're concentrated in the dried form, but there's more freshness when you do it fresh. Like using fresh squeezed lemon juice from a bottle versus actually squeezing the lemon yourself. There's a little difference to it. Alright, let's see how these guys are looking. Give them a little rotate. He's looking good. And we'll switch them over. Usually I would like to use a grill pan. If you have one of those cast iron grill pans, what you can do is you can lay down your chops one direction, wait 2 minutes, pick it up, and then rotate 90 degrees, and that will give you your hash marks. That also applies if you're grilling outside, which I can't wait to start grilling again. So you're not going to cook them all the way through. You just want to brown them because we're going to slow cook them in the sauce, the smothered and covered sauce. So give these a little flip. Down a little bit. What I'm going to do now is I'm not going to wipe out the pan, but I'm just going to blot up some of that oil. That's just excess pork fat. And a pork chop is not really oil that you want, so you just want to kind of dry it out a little bit. So now we're going to add a little more canola oil. Oops, that was water from my hands. We're going to turn the heat down on low, medium low. And now we are going to put the onions in. Put them in and then give them a toss to coat them in the oil. At this point, I'm not going to salt just yet. I want some of that moisture to slowly come out of the onions. Some people salt right away. You know, I don't know what the right way is. I just do it the way that I find easier and better for me. You may want to salt right away. You know, I'm not going to tell you no. I'm not a chef. I just like to cook. Got one onion. So we're going to let these go for about 15 to 20 minutes. You got them on low heat. Give them a little toss so they all get coated in the oil. Because you don't want them to saute. You want them to slowly release their liquid and their sugars, and you want the sugars to caramelize. So I will let them cook for about 5 minutes before I add any salt. Alright, so we're going to let these cook down. Like I said, 5 minutes, add a hit of salt, toss the coat again, and then let them cook for another 10 minutes or so until they start to caramelize. Alright, so we'll let that happen. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. Alright, we're back. So it's been about 20 minutes. As you can see, a lot of the liquid has come out of the onions. So we're going to deglaze the pan now with a little bit of wine, a little for me, and a little for the pan. I should pour myself another glass. So we're just going to use we're going to turn the heat up a little bit now just to cook out the wine. Using our fork, we're just going to kind of scrape the bottom. My wife can't stand that noise, so I'm going to switch to a wooden spoon. Just want to scrape up all the little brown bits from the onions and the pork chops. Oh, that smells so good. While that cooks out, time to add the garlic. And let the garlic cook for a few minutes. I just kind of like to pull everything to the center of the pan where all the heat is. Oh, I'm missing spots over here. You want to get all those spots. Scrape all those little bits up. That's where all the flavor is. There we go. So once you start to smell the garlic, and you can see that the wine has all been evaporated out. I'm starting to smell garlic now. It smells good. It smells like Chardonnay and garlic. That'd be a good wine, wouldn't it? So we're going to add about 1.5 cups of chicken stock. That's about 1.5 cups. I know that because this holds 4 cups, and I used 2 cups yesterday, so I know if there's a 1/2 cup in the container. Sometimes it's easier just to guess. You don't have to do. It's not like baking, where baking requires precise, measurements and ingredients. Dinner should be more about having fun and trying to see what your wife will or will not eat. Like, I know my wife won't eat mushrooms. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying to cook her mushrooms. Because they're healthy for you, a lot of vitamins and minerals. But she still won't eat. That's okay. You're going to add a 1/4 cup of, this is just regular plain whole milk. Well, lactose-free milk, I should say. Stir that in. You're going to bring that to a simmer as well. then while that comes up to a simmer, I am going to make a kneaded butter, which I've talked about before. It's just taking butter and adding a little bit of flour to it and just kneading it through. I won't have to use all this. No, baby, I'm not all done cooking. So you can use your hands. I like to use a fork in a glass bowl. Just kind of knead it through. It's going to start looking a little crumbly. Then you can actually just start using a fork to kind of like stir it and whisk it in, incorporate it all. Just go and add that in and cook it out. If you want to skip the white wine portion, before you add the chicken stock, you can add the butter. And once the butter melts, you can add the flour. I actually like to deglaze with the wine because I like the extra flavor. It does give a bit of a brightness to it. So once all that gets incorporated in, we are going to give it a stir. It just smells so good. I know it's a little steamy now, but can you see how like nice and incorporated that is? No more streaks on the bottom of the pan. So now we're going to turn it down to medium. And we're going to add our pork chops back to the pan. I'm just going to use my hands because they're not hot. And you're going to cook these now until they're about 145 degrees, which will probably take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the lid on. We're going to let this go for about 10 to 15 minutes and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Alright, it's been just under 10 minutes. And because I actually already temped one of my pork chops. So the way you temp a pork chop is hopefully you have an instant read. Instant read thermometers are the best. This one is by a brand called Taylor, and they have a fold-up pen and then they have a probe style pen. So you turn it on, you poke it through the center, you go about halfway in, and then it will tell you the temperature of the meat. And right now we're hitting up to 150, which is perfect. So 145 is the target. 150 just is a little done, but it's still going to be soft and juicy. So we're going to move these to a plate, which I forgot to get out. There we go. So, I lowered the heat. Oh, I can't use tongs today, can I? Wow. It is called cooking while drunk, but I'm not drunk. There you go. There we go. Alright, I'm going to let the sauce continue to thicken up a little bit. The sauce just looks so good. So now I have about a tablespoon of fresh chopped tarragon. You don't really have to take that long to cook it. And that is it. Kind of gives the little bottom a little scrape. Make sure everything is all incorporated. Actually, let's go ahead and plate this up right now, so you can see how delicious this is going to look. Pork chop. It's out of the way. Some of this. Sorry. I'm not right-handed, so I don't know how to do this. There we go. Oh, look at that. Now you want the pork chops to rest for a couple of minutes, and we are done. If you want to add a little chopped parsley, you can do so, which I don't have. So let's dive on in. Let's take a look and see how good this looks. Oh, perfectly cooked. We're gonna have to use a black bar if I'm about to do this pork chop right now. You know, we gotta censor this. So that is smothered and covered pork chops. Total time took about, what, 45 minutes? Not bad. Took probably a little longer prep time. I'm very slow at prepping. Maybe I can break out my mandolin, you know, slice the onions a little faster that way, because I got to be very careful because I tend to go too fast and get them too thick. Anyways, thank you for watching Cooking While Drunk. Don't forget, hit that button right there that says subscribe in the lower right hand corner. See you guys later. Have a good night. Stay safe. Stay healthy.